Welcome to Communication Skills by AutismClassroom.com. We know that communication is a top priority for many caregivers, parents, and teachers of students with autism. Communication is a big deal for a lot of families, and we will take a look at some things we might be able to do to help support communication. In typical development, we are aware that when children are young, they do cry when they have different needs, and they might smile when they see a person that they are familiar with. As they get older, they tend to imitate speech sounds, or they may string 2 or 3 words together. But for individuals with autism, they do not always follow that same pattern. And sometimes there are roadblocks. Some of the roadblocks might be low speech or limited speech. Also, in individuals with autism, sometimes you might see something called echolalia. This is when you may hear them repeating words or phrases or lines from movies. Some individuals with autism even seem to like the call letters of news stations or the radio stations. Some children may have no speech or may have some difficulty with recalling words when they need them. So, there are many roadblocks that we need to consider. Another roadblock might be problems with joint attention, which is the idea of attending to the same thing at the same time. Some individuals may not respond to their name when their name is called, even though you know that they know their name. Some individuals might take words literally and may have difficulty with sarcasm and jokes. When speaking, try to avoid sarcasm. What are some strategies? First, we should expect communication out of our children. We should expect that they are going to try to communicate using words, using pictures, using sign language, and using gestures. Any of these ways of communication is a method, and we should accept it. We can accept nonverbal methods as valid communication. Additionally, we can make the communication visual for those that cannot speak. Visual methods help us to think back and remember what the topic is. A good example is a grocery list. You know what you wrote on the list, but every once in a while, you need to glance at the visual list to be reminded. Visuals can help children with autism similarly. We can also use the strategy of organizing the environment. For example, you can place items out of reach. This could build communication. If you want your child to ask for things, you can place it higher on the shelf, and that way, they are going to have to go through you in order to get the item. They will have to communicate. You have to be careful with that though, because if your goal is to have them be independent, then you want to place the stuff where they can get to it. However, if you have decided that you are working on having them communicate more often, you must cause some need for them to communicate. You can also use creative sabotage. In this method, you would set up and mess up a situation on purpose just to see if they're going to respond. An example of this would be in a school setting with the days of the week. If you know what day of the week it is, you may purposely say that today is Tuesday, but you really know that it's Friday. And you just wait to see if the child is going to somehow indicate to you that you are wrong. This could build communication because they may want to let you know somehow that you made a mistake. When you are thinking about communication and you want to build it, you can also give smaller amounts of things. For example, if a child wants pretzels, instead of giving them a bunch of pretzels, you can just give 2 pretzels or a piece of a pretzel, and then have them ask for, use sign language for, or use a picture card to communicate that they want more pretzels. Of course, there are some formal approaches to communication that you can look at, such as structured communication systems. You might want to talk with the speech-language pathologist about any specific structured communication system. For now, let's look at what are some of the tools we use when trying to encourage communication in our students. For students with limited verbal skills, sometimes you might just start with using the actual items. Just place 2 items up and ask them which one they want. To take it a step further, some people might cut out the box or the label on the logo of an item and use that logo to represent the item. To take it even further, there are pictures that people may get from an internet search. Or They may take their own photographs or purchase a program or app that creates pictures for them so that the child can use the pictures to speak for them. A lot of times in schools, they will use a board that has pictures on it and have the teacher point to the board, and then have the student point to the board to communicate as well. In the classroom, you will also see visual sentence strips to help with building sentences and speech-generating devices that might say words when the child presses on the button. For students who are using words, many times, teachers will use visual conversation prompts to help support conversations. And so, these are just a few things that can be done to help support communication in children with autism. If you'd like more information, please check out autismclassroom.com.